Welcome to 13 Doors. This is episode 7, The Room That Forgets. If you're new here, welcome. Join us every Friday for new episodes and Thursdays for sneak peeks. Let's begin. Our three explorers continue their journey through the haunted asylum. They are searching for the ultimate truth. Whatever that may be, they've made it to door number 7. Nora stepped forward. The door wasn't locked. She pushed it open slowly. The door creaked, letting out a loud groan. A warm, dusty room waited inside. Sunlight streamed through grimy windows, illuminating motes dancing in the stale air. Furniture was frozen in place as if the residents had just stepped out for a moment. A fire crackled merrily in the hearth, though no wood had been added for many years. The wallpaper was peeling, revealing the sickly sweet smell of rot beneath. There were 2 doors at the far end, each marked with a faded brass number plaque, 7A and 7B. A single portrait hung above the fireplace mantel. Nora found herself drawn to it. Inside the frame was an older version of herself, her eyes filled with fear and exhaustion. Scratched into the plaster beneath the portrait, the words, "Don't trust the shadows," were barely visible. Next to the portrait, an easel held a half-finished sketch of the same woman, only younger, her face free of worry. Turning away from the chilling artwork, Nora noticed the 2 doors were slightly ajar. She could see into one room, a nursery covered in children's toys. The other, she couldn't see into because of a large wardrobe blocking the way. As she turned to leave the room, something caught her eye. An ornately carved wooden box lay on a table near the door. She approached cautiously. As she reached out to touch it, a sudden gust of wind slammed the nursery door shut, the sound echoing loudly in the sudden silence. Startled, Nora jumped back, her fingers brushing against the cool surface of the box. It slid open easily, revealing a velvet pouch. Inside lay an antique silver locket. But then she heard it again, a knock, slow and deliberate, coming from inside the wardrobe. She turned toward it, her heart pounding. The knock came again. Then the scratching began. Slow at first, then faster, more frantic. Whatever was trapped inside was trying to get out. Unable to bear the suspense any longer, she threw open the wardrobe doors. They found themselves in a narrow passageway. At its end, a faint light flickered. At first, it was just a glimmer, but it grew steadily until they could make out the shape of a door set into the wall. Relief washed over them. An exit. Hope surged through her. They'd finally found a way out of the asylum. As they stepped into the hallway beyond, however, the door slammed shut with a resounding boom. Plunged into darkness, they stumbled forward, their hands outstretched, their fingers brushed against cold, damp walls. They called out, their voices echoing eerily in the confined space. But there was no answer, only the drip, drip, drip of water somewhere in the darkness. Then, suddenly, the scratching began again, closer now, accompanied by a low, guttural growl. They froze, listening intently. The growling continued for what felt like hours, growing louder, more menacing. And then, just as abruptly, it stopped. When they finally worked up the courage to move again, they found themselves in a small, dimly lit room. In the center stood an old, ornately carved mirror. Its surface was cracked and dirty, making it impossible to see clearly. As Nora stepped closer, she gasped. Staring back at her was an older version of herself, her eyes wide with terror, her face pale and drawn. But it wasn't just her appearance that was different. There was something else. Something sinister lurking just behind her reflection. 2 black dots stared back, devoid of life. They were not her own. The growling sound started up again, this time directly behind her. Something cold and wet brushed against her neck. Then a whisper, raspy and distorted, seemed to slither into her ear. "You shouldn't have opened this door," it hissed. "This room steals your memories. just as suddenly as it had begun, the whispering stopped. The room was silent once more. Shaken and confused, Nora stumbled back. She wanted to run, to hide, but her legs felt like lead. She was trapped, unable to move, unable to speak. Then she heard a noise from behind the mirror. Footsteps, heavy, dragging footsteps. They were coming for her. She screamed, but no sound came out. Her throat was hoarse. The footsteps got closer. And then she saw him. A tall, gaunt figure emerged from behind the mirror. His eyes glowing red in the darkness. He reached out a hand, his fingers long and skeletal. And in a blink, she was back. She could hear Derek and Anya calling her name, their voices laced with concern. She was in the hallway outside door 7. Door 7 was now closed. She could feel the warmth of the room emanating from behind it, beckoning her to return. But something was different now. She was holding something in her hand, a mysterious photo that she hadn't seen in years. It showed a young girl with her mother. The mother's face had been scratched out, but Nora's, even in its childish form, was still clear. Suddenly, Dr. Elias's journal flipped open in her hands. A new message had appeared, written in the same cryptic script as before. She remembers now. It read. But what has she forgotten? Next, door 8, the child in the walls. What do you think happened in the room? What do you think is going to happen next? Find out in the next episode, coming soon.